Do you ever struggle drawing different body expressions? Well, I tend to struggle all the time, and probably everybody else too. Making a character show a certain feeling is really difficult for many artists and, people who want to develop characters. Well, in this video, I'll be giving tips on drawing the most appropriate body expressions, showing you a few examples on different body expressions that I came up with, and maybe that'll be useful for you, and useful resources for creating them, such as websites that you could go to practice drawing expressions. First, let's talk about some tips on creating expressions. Well, first of all, think about how the character feels. Pretend you're on their shoes, How would you react? Will you become emotional or more subdued, like calm? Or will you do anything? Also, another tip I would like to mention is pathos. The appealing to the audience emotions plays an important role in showing expressive characters in your story. If you are creating a story and if you want to draw, a dramatic scene, make sure that those characters are very expressive. If you can make your audience feel just like the character, then you know you're doing it right. And that's a good thing, And when I make my stories, I really think about emotion. For example, if there's a death scene, which there is, in my model, I won't tell you when, I try to draw out my characters sad or angry because sometimes something dramatic has happened. So yeah, now that you know some tips that I think about when I draw my characters, here are just some examples of different body expressions that I'll be using in this tutorial thing. There are a lot of expressions that you can create, but I will just talk about these 6 because these are the easiest for me to draw. And they include gay or happy, depressed or sad, flirty or suggestive, frustrated or mad, excitement, and relaxation. Let's talk about the expression gay. When drawing someone that is feeling gay, you want them to feel joyful and happy. Personally, showing happiness could really bring out someone. Make sure that the face is always smiley and stuff because a happy character is smiling. You could draw characters sitting down and still be happy. But really, I think you should concentrate on their face. Smiling, big eyes, and, a glowing face shows happiness. Sometimes certain hand gestures, like this OC here of my character's, I think Stephanie, I forgot her name, can really show expression. Tee. Alright, now let's talk about depression or depressed. Depressed characters always look gloomy and stuff. A good way to show this is to make their body droopy or slouchy, like here. If you are very sad, how will you pose? Will you be jumping up and down, or will you be positioned in a very awkward way, like sitting down, or maybe lying down looking sad, or you just want to cry, being depressed. Also, depressed characters tend to look sad on the outside a lot. The face is usually lower from the from the nose down. Like when you feel sad, you'll see a person, or yourself, your muscles on your face kind of drop down, and that uses a lot more muscle than smiling, which I didn't know that. And sometimes the eyes, will kind of slant. So yeah, study people outside and around you. A lot of people are sad these days, so drawing a depressed character isn't, very difficult, in my opinion, and I think you would agree. One of the hardest expressions to draw will have to be, a flirty posing and stuff. A character that's flirty usually looks suggestive. Eyes really can make someone look really flirtatious because, if you notice, the eyes will dilate, which because they're showing excitement or something, so the eyes change. Also, if you have a significant other, then you will understand that being flirty is really important. She's like, I suppose he's scared or touching certain places and stuff. Okay, that's all I need to say. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, frustration is similar to depression because, again, the face becomes a key factor in expressing anger, like in this example right here. If you are angry, what will you look like? Will you punch a wall, choke somebody, kick something? There's a lot of expressions to show anger. In this case, my OC Josh is angry because something happened with his brother, and so he's just frustrated and stuff. Hands can really help emphasize anger too, like making a fist or curling your fingers up. It's all up to you how you express anger, just like any other expression, but really make sure. Alright, next is assignment. Usually, if you want to draw an OC excited, you would draw them like a happy chibi, right? Well, sometimes drawing a chibi might not really work. What I learned, even though they'll show like being really excited or really dramatic, sometimes you might not want to be that dramatic. Sometimes you would just have to just make sure that your character looks more happy than just a regular happy. Just as like hand gestures. Make sure those hand gestures are very out there and prominent to their expression of being excitement, like a chibi. But don't draw a chibi. But yeah, happy is like really similar to gay and stuff. Not the gay. Ugh, the gay. Okay. Finally, the last expression I'll be pointing out is, how to draw a character relaxed or stuff like that. I know I didn't use a human example for this expression, but I think this kind of body language of showing relaxation is universal for any type of character. A relaxed character feels content. They could be sleeping or reading or even just looking outside the window. They might even close their eyes and take a deep breath. It is all up to you how you express relaxation or being content. Now that I showed you some, examples, you might be wondering, how in the world can I draw that? You showed it me and you never even told me how to draw it. Oh. Well, this is the number one thing I would have to say. Study things in real life. I don't know how much I just want to say this to everybody in the world. I don't know. But what I've learned from drawing and stuff is studying real life things or what's around you. You probably don't want to hear that, but it's true. Remember, people say, "Oh, copying's bad." Well, you can copy in real life, but don't copy like an actual artwork. Copying real life things can really benefit because you will have some idea on how to draw it correctly. I would like to show you a few websites that you can look at that will help you draw characters with particular expressions and stuff. So here you go. Alright, so here are some websites that I like to go to if I want to draw different poses for, expressing different feelings and stuff. So like this website here, posemania.com, and for some odd reason, like when I first, got into this website, all you have to do was just click on a picture and then you drag it around. But for some odd reason, like here, when I do drag it, it's just so weird, I don't know. But I like to go on here sometimes. So you could for certain poses, you could do that and then you could draw different angles. So cool. So I like going on here for that. But many people don't recommend this kind of website because there might not be anatomically correct, but I find it useful. I mean, at least looks better than what I could do. But anyways, another thing that you could do is look up body expressions on Google. I'm not saying you should copy all these things, but just browse around on here and look at the faces, because a lot of times facial expressions really do stand out when you want to draw a certain character pose, like how would they pose or whatever. The face is really important. And I'll go, of course, hand gestures too. Feet, not so much. But I personally believe that the face and hand, arms really do show expression. Here's some cool facial expressions. See, that you can look at. You don't have to copy them, but like study how they look. You don't have to practice realism, but just study their faces. Yeah, because it will really help. Like, I do this sometimes. Like, lately I've been just, going on these kind of websites or looking at these types of pictures and just see how does the face or body look when it's showing expression. And like this, body language. See, showing different, again, more about posing. Just really look. Like, if you have a hard time drawing a character sad, just look up sad or something. But like, also study like poses and stuff like this, and it'll probably really help you quite a lot. And lastly, there's this website on DeviantArt. There's all kinds of stuff on DeviantArt, but this particular site called daposes.deviantart.com. I think certain images on here you have to be a member in order to see. Like, I know her account, all her images are hidden unless you're like registered. Then you could view her stock images, but I don't know about these other ones. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is that like here they have all kinds of references for different positions and poses and stuff. See, body language, fighting pose. I don't know so much about showing emotion with your body, but it really all depends. Like I said, posing is important when showing expression, but I really think the face and arms really kind of like stand out on how a character feels and stuff. Because if you have a blank face and posing with a blank face, then you don't know like how they feel. Do they feel, I don't know, bored? Posing, this is like forced. But if you show really emotion, then I guess it'll make a difference. But anyways, yep, that's all I wanted to say. I hope that this video was useful to you and stuff like that. And I'm sorry that I might not sound clear, but I think showing expression and stuff is really important when developing characters. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys later. Bye. Look at this guy.